The Patton Report is a Boink Studios production. And now, on with the show.
Today on the Patton Report, we're diving into one of the longest-running genre-defining franchises in gaming history, Capcom's MegaMan, a character whose simple blue design hides a staggering legacy with mini-games, multiple timelines, anime adaptations, canceled projects, a near-total disappearance in the 2010s, and a triumphant resurgence led by fan demand and nostalgia. MegaMan is more than a mascot. He's a blueprint for how gameplay, innovation, and clear design can define an entire generation of gaming. This episode unpacks every major era from the early NES experiments to the X series to Battle Network's digital future to the franchise's sudden collapse and slow revival. This is the full story of the Blue Bomber. But before we dive into MegaMan, there's a few things I want to talk about just gaming news-wise. First off, Microsoft is unveiling a Fallout 2 Xbox controller they're basically designed kind of like a Pip-Boy, so you get kind of a Pip-Boy layout on the front of the controller. There's both an Elite standard version. There's both an Elite version and a standard version. Both kind of have this Pip-Boy inspired look, the dark green backgrounds, and a phosphor-like neon green accent for the text, icons, and other details, and a line art silhouette of Vault Boy himself spanning from the center of each controller. This obviously is aligning with the re-release of the Fallout games that's coming out for Fallout 4. I believe we talked about that on a previous episode. The price points are $80 for the standard and $170 for the Elite wireless controller. So if you're a Fallout fan, that's going to be available to you. We're getting some new games for Nintendo Switch Online. It's adding 2 classic N64 platformers. If you're a Rayman fan and you've been waiting for this for a while, both Rayman and Tonic Trouble are being added mid-December to that. So if you have Nintendo Switch Online and have been looking for something new to play, and maybe you've never played a Rayman game, it's out there for you. We're getting some new PS Plus Extra and Premium games for December 2025. They've been officially revealed. The games are going to include Killing Floor 3, Lego Horizon Adventures, Neon White, Sindality, Echo of Ada, and Outlast The Trials, which are going to be completely free of charge. So those will be out, and then there's some new PS Plus Extra and Premium games coming out, which is going to be more of, if you're on the paid tier, I believe, is Assassin's Creed Mirage and Cat Quest 3, as well as 2 Paw Patrol games, Paw Patrol Grand Prix and Paw Patrol World. And also, I believe, Planet Coaster 2 and Wulong Fallen Dynasty, which is an incredible game. Planet Coaster I liked, but it's kind of a hard game to play on console. That's one, if you're thinking about playing it, you may want to pick that up on PC if you have a PC available to you. Pokemon Legends ZA has released a brand new update for December 2025. Nintendo and Game Freak released 2.0 for Pokemon Legends ZA, addressing issues while ushering in the Mega Dimensions DLC for fans who have purchased the premium content. Even though Pokemon Legends ZA only just launched back on October 16th, Nintendo is releasing the first major DLC pack for the game known as Mega Dimensions. For those who are looking for more content to dig into, this expansion should keep players busy with a variety of new creatures to capture. This is coming from the Game Rant article written by Derek Nichols, published 8 hours ago as of the time I'm recording this. So if you want to go check out more about that, there's some more details in there. It's going to be good for some of the bug fixes. I know people that are using the original Switch are having some major issues with speed of the game and how that thing is actually running on the console, which is not great. That's something that we were hoping would be cleaned up after what kind of people went through with Scarlet and Violet. I have already finished CA. I liked the game a lot. Recommend it to anyone who is a Pokemon fan. We have a Christmas event for Final Fantasy XIV. It's coming out. It's got some pre-emotes, goodies. So if you're a Final Fantasy XIV player, you probably already know this at this point. But something. If you haven't played in a while, maybe you'll want to log in for the annual Starlight Celebration, which is returning to Final Fantasy XIV, and get all your free stuff. Maybe you'll jump in and play some more. Who knows? Grand Theft Auto Online is releasing a big update for December as well. It looks like, let's see what all the details on that's going to be. It's the free content update is available for all Grand Theft Auto Online players, adding new missions, vehicles, and most importantly, luxurious mansion properties for players to obtain. Fans were also left surprised after Rockstar confirmed that the update will also see the return of an iconic Grand Theft Auto 5 protagonist, Michael De Santa. So if you've been missing Michael, it sounds like this December update is going to add him back to you. I never really got into Grand Theft Auto Online. I played it a little bit. It's just, I don't know, it really wasn't for me. I'm more about just the campaign of Grand Theft Auto, I guess, more than anything else. And, yeah, but I know that I think that at one point they had 220 million players worldwide. Well, no, that's how many copies they sold. I know that there may actually be. Anyways, there's a lot of people. We're talking about a lot of online players at one point. I don't know. I know the game is still very, very popular. I just don't know how many what the current player base looks like. Call of Duty is making a change to their release strategy, apparently. In an article by Matthew O'Dwyer, Activision has revealed that it will no longer be releasing Call of Duty's Modern Warfare or Black Ops titles back-to-back, as the company will strive to give players a completely new experience to enjoy every year. Call of Duty has been releasing a new title every year for quite some time, but it seems as if the current strategy of launching titles within the same sub-series back-to-back has not worked for Activision, leading to some significant changes in the way the company plans its major releases. While there's no way of knowing what exactly goes into making such decisions, it seems as if Call of Duty Black Ops 7 has struggled to find its audience. While it was revealed that the title topped the PSN charts in November, it has struggled to find the same level of support on Steam, with its concurrent player count peaking at around 100,000 players shortly after launch. Analysts like the game business Chris Dringe has claimed that the Xbox in general dropped the ball at a crucial moment. Many fans have also expressed some burnout with the franchise and complained about the use of AI-generated assets within the title. While Activision has not spoken directly about Black Ops 7 sales, its decision to change the way it releases the franchise entries may indicate the game is not meeting certain expectations. So there's a lot of things to unpack there. I attempted to play this game, and I did not get very far because it's 180 gig install. I made a post about it. It's out there on Instagram, so if you follow me on Instagram, you can hear my complaints with installing this game, which it allowed you to choose what you wanted to install based on what you wanted to play. So I picked the campaign and zombies and was like, this will probably be what I would want to play in the game. Go to launch the game, go to play those, and it basically just told me I need to install the entire game, which is, well, don't give me the option to pick what I want to install then, would be my reaction to that. I don't think that everyone had that same experience. But, I mean, a lot of it is these are kind of the same games. They're pushing their development teams way too hard. It's kind of, not at all the same as the WWE games, but if you remember when the WWE games, there was lots of buggy issues, and they decided to take a year off, or two, I think it was almost 2 years off, before putting out a new release. And it sounds like, Call of Duty's going to have to find a way to handle that, where they're not they're able to put out a better quality game, because it sounds like some people are disappointed with this. As I noted, I haven't played it yet, so I can't speak on it too much. Overwatch 2 releases a bunch of Christmas stuff here. It looks like they also put a nerf to Reinhardt in buffed Vendetta. I have not played Overwatch 2 in quite some time, so I can't really speak on the quality of the game as far as comp goes, but the return of the Winter Wonderland season event is out, which means new skins, potentially. So if you like skin hunting in Overwatch, you'll be able to go play that event, get you some new skins. I'm sure a lot of people will be grinding that out. I used to be one of those people, but like I said, I've not played that game in quite some time. And then as far as, let's see, is there anything else that's really newsworthy out here before we get into our main topic of Mega Man? And I'm kind of thinking nothing too much. Nothing's really standing out. So that's kind of the news topics I have for this week. Let's get into Mega Man. The story of Mega Man begins in the mid-1980s when Capcom was a small but ambitious arcade developer known mostly for vertical shooters and quarter eaters like 1942, Commando, and Ghost and Goblins. While Nintendo's Famicom was exploding in popularity across Japan, Capcom was still looking for a way to translate its arcade identity into the home console market. They were looking for a breakout character, something that could live beside Mario and stand out in the growing world of mascot-driven platformers. The group assigned to the project was a tiny, roughly 6 developers, an incredibly small team even by 1987 standards. Director Akira Kitamura was the real architect of Mega Man's core identity, though much of the credit later went to the young illustrator who joined partway into development, Keiji Inafune. Inafune's art would help define the series, but it was Kitamura's gameplay first philosophy that laid the foundation. He wanted something that felt different from Nintendo's platformers. Instead of designing linear levels where you jumped over obstacles, he wanted a game where the player's decisions shaped the order of the adventure. This idea led to Mega Man's most iconic mechanic, defeating themed robot masters and absorbing their weapons. The player could choose any stage in any order, discovering for themselves that certain weapons were strong or weak against other bosses. The brilliance of the mechanic wasn't just variety, it was empowerment. It made the player feel smart, it made experimentation feel rewarding, and it set Mega Man apart from every other platformer on the market. The first Mega Man game launched on the NES in 1987 to strong critical praise, but lukewarm sales. Its cover art, famously bizarre and off-colored model, didn't help, yet even in this modest beginning, Mega Man's potential was clear, and the team believed that they had something very special. The problem was convincing Capcom. What followed would become one of the most legendary development stories in gaming. Mega Man's real success begins with a game that shouldn't have existed at all, Mega Man 2. Capcom didn't want a sequel. It viewed the first game as a commercial disappointment, but the development team believed passionately in the concept, so they began building Mega Man 2 as an unofficial side project using their own free time and unpaid overtime. When Capcom finally saw the prototype, they recognized the potential and gave it the green light, but with a tiny budget and short development window, that constraint ironically pushed the team into peak creativity. Released in 1988, Mega Man 2 became a monumental hit. Everything about it was sharper, the controls, the variety of stages, the now iconic 8 robot masters, and one of the most beloved soundtracks ever put on the NES, highlighted by Dr. Wily's Stage 1 theme, which remains a chiptune masterpiece. This is the game that made Mega Man a household name. It's also the game that made me fall in love with Mega Man. Capcom immediately capitalized on the success, transforming the series into an annual release. Mega Man 3 followed in 1990, larger and more ambitious, including Rush the Robot Dog and Proto Man, Mega Man's mysterious red rival. Mega Man 4 added the charge shot, fundamentally changing the pacing of the combat. Mega Man 5 refined movement and level designs with more visually ambitious stages, and Mega Man 6, developed largely by Capcom's American branch, capped off the NES run with the new transformation-style Rush adapters. Across these 6 games, Mega Man's identity solidified. The formula became instantly recognizable. The boss selection screen, the rapid-fire platforming, the clever use of the boss's weaknesses, and the distinct musical style. During this era, Mega Man became a symbol of precision gameplay and difficult but fair level design. Capcom had turned a risky project into a yearly institution, but by 1993, the NES formula was showing its age. Capcom needed to reinvent Mega Man for the new generation. The arrival of the Super Nintendo offered Capcom a chance to refresh the franchise. Instead of simply porting the NES into 16-bit graphics, the development team, this time, with Inafune in a larger creative role, decided to reimagine Mega Man entirely. The result was Mega Man X, a game that kept the spirit of the original while evolving the gameplay into something faster, more physical, and more stylish. Released in 1993, Mega Man X felt modern in every sense. Mega Man could dash, wall jump, and upgrade his armor throughout the game, giving the player a steady sense of growth and mastery. The world itself was darker and more dystopian, built around the idea of Reploids, advanced robots whose free will, who with free will could go maverick and turn against humanity. These cyberpunk tones set the X series apart, drawing older players into Mega Man's orbit and opening the door to more complex storytelling. The breakout character of the X series wasn't even the protagonist, it was Zero, the red-haired, beam saber-wielding hunter who quickly became a fan favorite. His design, his mysterious connection to Dr. Wily, and eventual evolution into a main character helped give the X universe emotional weight. The success of the first game led to a full franchise. X2 pushed the SNES hardware using Capcom's custom CX4 chip. X3 allowed players to control Zero for the first time, though only in limited sections. When the series moved to PlayStation and Saturn with X4, it embraced anime-style cutscenes and gave Zero his own fully playable campaign, a turning point that cemented him as the co-protagonist. Later entries like X5 and X6 were rushed, but despite their flaws, they remain cult favorites for their ambitious story arcs. By the late 1990s, Mega Man was no longer just one franchise, he was several. All of why that's happening, we did get sub-games, things like Mega Man Soccer, etc., which is one of my favorite sports games on the Super Nintendo, and one I highly recommend that people go out and play if you've never played it. Mega Man's late 90s and 2000s were defined by experimentation. The franchise branched into entirely new genres, new continuities, and new audiences. Each sub-series has its own identity, mechanics, and fan base. One of the boldest changes came in 1997 with Mega Man Legends, a fully 3D action-adventure title for the PlayStation. This continuity centered on Mega Man, Volnut, Roll Casket, and the Servbots had a lighter, more adventure-driven tone and open-world flavor unusual for Capcom at the time. While not a massive commercial hit, Legends earned a devout following. To this day, the cancellation of Mega Man Legends 3 remains one of the most painful moments in the series' history. The early 2000s introduced a radical different take with Mega Man Battle Network on the Game Boy Advance, set in alternate modern future. The series followed Lan Hikara and his partner NetNavi, MegaMan.exe, as they navigated digital crime and cyber battles. Combat took place on a tactical grid that combined action, strategy, and deck-building elements. The Battle Network series exploded in popularity, receiving 6 core entries and multiple spin-offs. It became a multimedia phenomenon, complete with anime adaptations and a massive merchandising wave. Running alongside the Battle Network was Mega Man Zero, a more mature and difficult action series set a century after the Mega Man X games. Zero revived in a new, desolate future, battles oppressive forces, and confronts a world shaped by the legacy of X. These games were fast, punishing, and visually distinct, redefining Zero's character and giving fans one of the strongest narratives in Mega Man history. The franchise continued to evolve through the Mega Man series with Mega Man ZX, which blended Zero's style action with Metroidvania style exploitation, and Mega Man Star Force, a spiritual successor to Battle Network featuring electromagnetic worlds, transformations, and a new protagonist altogether. By the end of the 2000s, Mega Man had stretched into nearly every genre: platformers, RPGs, tactics, open-world adventures, shooters, and more. Capcom's mascot had become a multi-timeline universe. The turning point came in 2010 when Keiji Inafune, no longer associated with Mega Man's creative direction, abruptly left Capcom amid internal tensions and burnout. His departure triggered a chain reaction that fans still talk about. Several Mega Man projects were canceled, including Mega Man Universe and the deeply anticipated Mega Man Legends 3 for the Nintendo 3DS. For many fans, this felt like the franchise death sentence. Capcom released almost no new Mega Man titles for the next 7 years, aside from the occasional mobile games and retro collections. The character was missing from the gaming landscape. This absence ignited a wave of online activism. Fans began trending hashtags like hashtag revive Mega Man and started petitions to bring back Legends 3. The brand survived almost entirely through community passion, speedrunning, fan games, and nostalgia. In this period, Inafune attempted to create his own spiritual successor, Mighty Number 9, through Kickstarter. The project raised massive funding on the promise of capturing Mega Man's spirit, but delays, production troubles, and an underwhelming final release turned Mighty Number 9 into one of gaming's most infamous crowdfunding failures. Ironically, the disappointment only reinforced how much fans wanted the real Mega Man. In 2018, after nearly a decade of silence, Capcom finally brought Mega Man back with Mega Man 11. Instead of chasing trends or rebooting the series, Capcom delivered a modernized version of the classic formula with slick 2.5D visuals, expressive animation, and a new double gear system that allowed players to slow down time or increase power output. Critics praised it as a confident, polished return, a game that remembered exactly what made Mega Man special. At the time, Capcom began meticulously rebuilding the franchise's legacy through a series of legacy collections that compiled the classics X0 and 0X and ZX and the Battle Network titles. These collections weren't just re-releases. They were preservation efforts packed with concept art, museum features, and new challenge modes. The Battle Network collection, released in 2023, became a breakout hit, reviving interest in the long-dormant series. While no new Mega Man games have been announced since Mega Man 11, the brand remains active in crossovers, merchandising, licensed comics, and thriving online fan base. Capcom has repeatedly stated that Mega Man is an important part of its portfolio. The question isn't if he'll return, it's when, and he is sorely missed at the moment. Mega Man's legacy is enormous. He helped define the platformer as a skill-based genre built on pattern recognition and adaptability. His music, fast, melodic, and full of energy, remains iconic, frequently remixed and covered by fans and orchestras alike. His visual identity inspired countless games in the indie scene, from Shovel Knight to Azure Striker, Gunvolt. In storytelling terms, Mega Man's multiverse approach, multiple timelines running parallel with each other, its own themes and mechanics, was decades ahead of its time. The franchise experimented boldly and embraced new genres fearlessly, and proved that the mascot character could adapt to almost any style of gameplay. Even during the franchise's darkest years, the community kept Mega Man alive. The dedication is a rare thing in gaming. It speaks to the strength of the character, the purity of his design, and the passion of the people who grew up with him. Mega Man's history is the story of a character who began as a humble 8-bit experiment and grew into one of gaming's most enduring icons. He survived corporate setbacks, canceled projects, and years of silence, only to return stronger than ever thanks to fans who never stopped believing in him. From the classic era to the X series, from cyber battles to dystopian futures, Mega Man continues to inspire generations of players and developers. This has been the Patton Report, Mega Man's complete history.